Senate will come to order for this Wednesday, February 16th, 2022, day 3. Prayer by Father Thomas Crunkleton Jr., St. Mary's Cathedral. Oh, yeah, I just want to, my mind is continually moving to the next step. Now we can have a roll call and see if we're here.
Roll call for Wednesday, February 16th. Anderson? Here. Baldwin? Here. Beitman? Here. Boner? Here. Bouchard? Here. Case? Present. Cooper? Here. Driscoll? Here. Ellis? French? Here. Furphy? Here. Guru? Here. Hicks? Here. Hutchings? Here. James? Here. Kinski? Here. Kolb? Present. Cost? Landon? Here. McEwen? Here. Nethercott? Pappas? Perkins? Rothfuss?
Here.
Salazar? Here. Schuler? Here. Scott? Here. Steinmetz? Here. Wasserberger? Here. President Dockstetter?
Here, and Perkins excused.
And Cost?
Excused.
Excused. 28 present, 2 excused.
Thank you. Prayer by Father Crunkleton.
Let us pray. Lord of the universe, as we reach midweek, we celebrate the wonders of your creation. You bless our great state with the beauty of the wide open plains, the majestic snow-capped mountains, the flowing rivers and streams, the glistening lakes and reservoirs, the geysers, mud pots, and hot springs, the beautiful blue skies, and the abundant wildlife. We can forget the wonders of this beauty when we are busy working the land, using our resources, traveling from here to there, or just doing important works inside. Then you remind us of the loveliness of your creations by giving us a crisp day with snow. Help us not to complain about the cold or the challenges of moving about, but let us praise your name and the gifts you put into our lives to inspire wonder and awe. Be with us this day as we continue the important work which you and the people of Wyoming have entrusted us. And let the beauty of the earth inspire us in our labors. We ask this in your blessed name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Father. Senator Ellis, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Again, thanks to Father Crunkleton, our nurse for the day, Jennifer James, RN, today in Wyoming history. On this day in 1901, Wyoming Governor Richards signed an act that required county commissioners to raise taxes for the purpose of building a residence for the governor. Quote for the day: I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I have lost almost 300 games. 26 times I have been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I have failed over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. Who do you suppose said that? Michael Jordan. Today at noon is the deadline for all bill drafts to be in final form to LSO. Reading, correction, approval of the journal.
Mr. President, your journal committee reports that the journal of February 15, 2022 has been read and recommends it to be approved. Senator Kolb, Chairman.
Are there any objections? There being none, the report is adopted. Introduction, reading, and reference of bills. Oh, please, go ahead.
Privilege of the floor.
Please do.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm Wyoming Senate welcome to the Sheridan Leadership Class of 2022. Stand up, please. Mr. President, they'll be observing us until 11:20 or so. So if people want to put on an extra good show, that'd be really appreciated by this.
I think that was a call from Sheridan to have your A game on. With that, Mr. Majority Floor Leader. Consent list for us. Go ahead.
Not sure where I'm at.
Just pause for a moment and we're going to send out some help for you.
Oh, I do. I've got the consent list. Mr. President, we do have a consent list. I move the third reading consent list, which is as follows.
Excuse me, this isn't third reading, sir. Let me get
Yeah.
you a script.
Where are we at? Well, I don't have the script for it.
Help is on the way. Senate will pause for just a moment.
I have no script for it.
Help is on the way in just a moment.
But
Floor Leader, there you go.
thank you. Now I'm ready.
Floor is yours.
In accordance with Senate Rule 13-5, I move that there be an intercommittee bill consent list which consists of the bills to be read in now by the reading clerk.
Senate consent list, Wednesday, February 16. Senate File 3, radioactive materials transport fee, sponsored by the Transportation Committee. Senate File 4, fossils distinguished from minerals, sponsored by the Tribal Relations Committee. Senate File 14, telecommunicator cardiopulmonary resuscitation, sponsored by the Transportation Committee. Senate File 15, oversized and overweight vehicles, fees and permits, sponsored by the Transportation Committee. Senate File 16, vehicles equipped with automated driving systems, sponsored by the Transportation Committee. Senate File 17, automated transport of cargo or goods, sponsored by the Transportation Committee. Senate File 18, county road maintenance fund amendments, sponsored by the Transportation Committee. Senate File 20, state assessment of independent power producers, sponsored by the Revenue Committee. Senate File 42, reporting on business franchise tax, sponsored by the Revenue Committee. Senate File 44, severance tax distribution, jobs and education, sponsored by the Transportation Committee. Senate File 48, 2022 large project funding, sponsored by the Natural Resource Funding. Senate File 49, repeal of specified state boards and commissions, sponsored by the Management Audit Committee. Senate File 55, insurance sandbox, sponsored by the Blockchain Technology Committee. Senate File 56, lottery amendments, sponsored by the Blockchain Technology Committee. Senate File 68, decentralized autonomous organizations amendments, sponsored by the Blockchain Technology Committee. Senate File 70, revisers bill, sponsored by the Management Council. Senate File 71, deregulated industrial power zone, sponsored by Blockchain Technology Committee. Senate File 72, removing requirements for separate accounting of funds, sponsored by the Management Audit. Senate File 73, codifying the Institutional Land Fund, sponsored by the Management Audit Group. Senate File 80, Omnibus Water Bill Construction, sponsored by the Water Committee. Senate File 82, Supplemental Water Development Funding, sponsored by the Water Committee.
Would anyone like any of these bills removed from the consent list? Senator Hutchins.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Forgive my lack of preparation. I would like Senate File 20 pulled. I'd like to hear more information on that bill. Thank you. Mr.
Say that
Chairman.
number again, please, for the record.
Senate File 0020,
Thank-
a state assessment of independent power producers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Senator Scott.
Mr. President, I would like to have Senate File 55 Insurance Sandbox and Senate File 56 Lottery Amendments removed.
Absent objection, they'll be removed. Thank you. Anyone else? Senator Hicks.
Mr. President, I would request that Senate File 4, Fossil Distinguished Minerals, be removed, and Senate File 44, Severance Tax Distributions, Jobs and Education, be removed from the consent list.
Absent objection, that's Senate File 4, Senate File 44, removed from the list. Any further? Okay. Consent list includes Senate File 3, Radioactive Materials Transport Fee, Senate File 14, Telecommunicator Cardiopulmonary Resuscitation, Senate File 15, Oversized and Overweight Vehicle Fees and Permits, Senate File 16, Vehicles Equipped with Automated Driving System, Senate File 17, Automated Transport of Cargo or Goods, Senate File 18, County Road Maintenance Fund Amendments, Senate File 42, Reporting on Business Franchise Tax, Senate File 48, 2022 Large Project Funding, Senate File 49, Repeal of Specified State Boards and Commissions, Senate File 68, Decentralized Autonomous Organizations Amendments, Senate File 70, Revisers Bill, Senate File 71, Deregulated Industrial Power Zones, Senate File 72, Removing Requirements for Separate Accounting, Senate File 73, Codifying Institutional Land Fund, Senate File 80, Omnibus Water Bill Construction, and Senate File 82, Supplemental Water Development Funding. Chief Clerk, call the roll. First reading of Senate File 3. Chief Clerk will call the roll. Okay, first reading, Senate File 3, Senate File 14, Senate File 15, Senate File 16, Senate File 17, Senate File 18, Senate File 42, Senate File 48, Senate File 49, Senate File 68, Senate File 70, Senate File 71, Senate File 72, Senate File 73, Senate File 80, and Senate File 82. Chief Clerk, call the roll.
On the consent list, Anderson, Baldwin, Whitman, Boner, Bouchard, Case, Cooper, Driscoll, Ellis, French, Murphy, Guru, Hicks, Hutchings, James, Kinsky, Cole, Cost, Landon, McCune, Nethercott, Pappas, Perkins, Rothfuss, Salazar, Schuler, Scott, Steinmetz, Wasserberger, President Dockstetter.
Aye.
On the consent list, 30 aye. Senate File 3, are there any changes? Whitman, aye to no. Salazar, aye to no. James, aye to no.
No.
Scott, no. Bouchard, no. Cole, aye to no. French, aye to no. McEwen, aye to no. Closing vote. Closing vote closed. Senate File 3, 22 aye, 8 no. Senate File 14, are there any changes? Closing vote. Closing. Vote closed. Senate File 14, 30 aye. Senate File 15, are there any changes? Scott?
No.
Scott, aye to no. Beitman, aye to no. James, aye to no. Salazar, aye to no. Bouchard, aye to no. McEwen, aye to no. Boner, aye to no. French, aye to no. Steinmetz, aye to no. Cole, aye to no. Hutchings, aye to no. Closing vote. Closing. Vote closed. Senate File 15, 19 aye, 11 no. Senate File 16, are there any changes? James, aye to no. Closing vote. Closing. Vote closed. Senate File 16, 29 aye, 1 no. Senate File 17, are there any changes? Closing vote. Closing. Vote closed. Senate File 17, 30 aye. Senate File 18, are there any changes? Beitman? Aye to no.
Hicks, I to no.
Hicks, aye to no. James, aye to no. Hutchings, aye to no. Salazar, aye to no. Bouchard, aye to no. McEwen, aye to no. Steinmetz, aye to no. French, aye to no. Cole, aye to no. Cooper, aye to no. Closing vote. Closing. Vote closed. Senate File 18, 19 aye, 11 no. Senate File 42, are there any changes? McEwen, aye to no. James, aye to no. Beitman, aye to no. Bouchard, aye to no.
Kinsky, I don't know.
Kinsky, aye to no. Salazar, aye to no. Cole, aye to no. Hutching, aye to no. Cooper, aye to no. Hicks,
I to no.
aye to no. Steinmetz, aye to no. And French, aye to no. Ellis, aye to no. Dockstetter, aye to no. Driscoll, aye to no. Nethercott, aye to no. Closing vote. Perkins, aye to no. Anderson, aye to no. Schuler, aye to no. Boner, aye to no. Landon, aye to no. Furphy, aye to no. Cost, I to know.
Here we go.
Wasserberger, I to know. Baldwin, I to know. Closing vote. Closing, vote closed. Senate File 42. 5 aye, 25 no. Senate File 42. Senate File 48. Are there any changes? Beitman, I to know. Bouchard, I to know. McEwen, I to know. James, I to know. Closing vote. Closing. Vote closed. Senate File 48, 26 aye, 4 no. Senate File 49, are there any changes? Closing vote. Closing. Vote closed. Senate File 49, 30 aye. Senate File 68, are there any changes? Hutchings, I to know. Closing vote. Closing. Vote closed. Senate File 68, 29 aye, 1 no. Senate File 70, are there any changes? Closing vote. Closing. Vote closed. Senate File 70, 30 aye. Senate File 71, are there any changes? Case, I to know. Anderson, I to know. Hutchings, I to know. Closing vote. Closing. Vote closed. Senate File 71, 27 aye, 3 no. Senate File 72, are there any changes? McEwen? I to know.
Hicks, I don't know.
Hicks, I to know. Kinsky, I to know. Bouchard, I to know. Steinmetz, I to know. Hutchings, I to know. James, I to know. Beitman, I to know. Kolb, I to know. Salazar, I to know. Cooper, I to know, sir. Cooper, I to know. Guru, I to know. French, I to know. Closing vote. Closing. Vote closed. Senate File 72, 17 aye, 13 no. Senate File 73, are there any changes? Closing vote. Closing. Vote closed. Senate File 73, 30 aye. Senate File 80, are there any changes? Closing vote. Closing. Vote closed. Senate File 80, 30 aye. Senate File 82, are there any changes? Closing vote. Closing. Vote closed. Senate File 8230 I.
Following bills have received required approval of 2/3 of the elected members of the Senate. Senate File 3, radioactive materials. Senate File 14, telecommuter cardiopulmonary resuscitation. Senate File 15, oversized and overweight vehicle fees and permit. Senate File 16, vehicles equipped with automated driving system. Senate File 17, automated transport of cargo goods. Senate File 18, county road maintenance fund amendments. Failed. Correction, Senate File 15. For the record, Senate File 15 has failed. Oversized and overweight vehicle fees and permits. And Senate File 18 has failed. County road maintenance fund amendments. Senate File 48, passing 2022 large project funding. Senate File 49, repeal of specified state boards and commissions. Senate File 68, decentralized autonomous organizations amendments. Senate File 70, revisers bill. Senate File 71, deregulated industrial power zones. Senate File 73, codifying the industrial land fund. Senate File 80, omnibus water bill construction. Senate File 82, supplemental water development funding. Those bills have passed the Senate. Senate File 72, removing requirements for separate accounting. That has failed. Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah. Senate File 3, assigned to Committee Number 8, Transportation. It's radioactive materials transport fees. Senate File 14, telecommuter cardiopulmonary resuscitation, assigned to Senate Committee Number 8, Transportation. Senate File 16, vehicles equipped with automated driving system, assigned to Committee Number 8, Transportation. Senate File 17, automated transport of cargo goods, assigned to Committee Number 8, Transportation. Senate File 48, 2022 large project funds referred to Committee Number 6, Travel. Senate File 49, repeal of specified state boards and commissions, referred to Committee Number 1, Number 2, Appropriations. Senate File 68, decentralized autonomous organizations amended. Just a moment. Thank you. Assigned to Committee Number 7, Corporations. Sure. Senate File 68, decentralized autonomous organization amendments, referred to Committee Number 7, Corporations. Committee Number 70, or excuse me, Senate File Number 70. Referred to Committee Number 2, Appropriations. Senate File 71, deregulated industrial power zones, referred to Committee Number 7, Corporations. Senate File 73, codifying the institutional land fund, referred to Committee Number 1, Judiciary. Senate File 80, omnibus water bill construction, referred to Committee number 5, Agriculture, and Senate File 82, Supplemental Water Development Funding, referred to Committee number 5, Agriculture. Let's go to those bills now pulled off of consent list. Senate File number 4, Fossils Distinguished from Minerals. Senator Ellis.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for introduction of Senate File 4, Fossils Distinguished from Minerals, and I don't know if I heard it, but has that been read in?
Reading clerk, please read it in.
Senate File 4, Fossils Distinguished from Minerals, sponsored by the Tribal Relations Committee.
Thank you,
Senator
Mr.
Ellis.
President. Recall, senators, that last session, we took up the issue of what happens when you find dinosaur bones on your private property. I think it's pretty well understood that when you find dinosaur bones, which can be very valuable, hundreds of thousands of dollars up to millions of dollars, that they belong to the landowner. But there was some ambiguity in our law about what happens when you have a split estate situation. We've seen cases arise in other states as well as our own about whether or not those are technically minerals or that belong to the mineral estate, or whether those fossils belong to the surface estate. So last year, we passed a law, Senate File 78, which made that distinction and said those are surface estate, they belong to the surface estate owners. However, in doing our work, it was a good bill, but we decided that we needed to tighten that up a bit. It was a little too over-inclusive, and it included the word artifact. So what this bill does, Mr. President, is it makes that clarifying change. We were only talking about dinosaur bones. That was the intent of the bill. So it strikes the inclusion of the word artifact. It also tries to tighten up the language even further. We're really just talking about those instruments of conveyance for either the surface estate or the mineral estate. We also added some cross references to Title 30, which is the mineral title, or excuse me. Yeah, Title 30, excuse me. And then the statute we passed last session did not include a definition of fossilized. So this bill includes a definition for that, making it clear it also does not include human remains, which we deal with in another part of the statute. So that's the bill, Mr. President. It's been, I think, well worked in your Tribal Relations Committee, and I'd ask for your favorable consideration.
Chief Clerk, call the roll.
Senate File 4, introductory vote, roll call. Anderson? Aye. Baldwin? Aye. Beitman? Aye. Boner? Aye. Bouchard? Aye. Case? Aye. Cooper? No. Driscoll? No. Ellis?
Aye.
Aye. French? Aye. Furphy? Aye. Guru? No. Hicks? No. Hutchings? Aye. James? Aye. Kinsky? Aye. Cole? No. Cost? No. Landon? Aye. McCune? Aye. Nethercott? Aye. Pappas? Aye. Perkins? No. Rothfuss? Aye. Salazar? Aye. Schuler? Aye. Scott? No. Steinmetz? No. Wasserberger? Aye. President Dockstader? No. Pinsky, aye to no. Closing vote. Closing. Vote closed. Senate File 4, 19 aye, 11 no.
Senate File 4 has failed to pass the Senate on introduction. Senate File 20, State Assessment of Independent Power Producers. Oh, we have that read in, please.
Senate File 20, State Assessment of Independent Power Producers, sponsored by the Revenue Committee.
Who asked to have this pulled? Senator Hutchings.
I don't think I need this.
Senator,
Thank
oh,
you.
we're referring. Okay, we got a lot of finger pointing going on here. Senator James, it's all yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I bring to you Senate File 20, and ask for your favorable consideration. So what this basically does is this provides the Department of Revenue with the authority to continue assessing all electric power plants in Wyoming, including those power plants that sell wholesale electrical supplies. So it's just some simple cleanup language and it's a very simple bill. So
Thank you. Chief Clerk, call the roll.
Senate File 20, introductory roll call. Anderson? No. Baldwin? Aye. Whitman? Aye. Boner? Aye. Bouchard? Aye. Case? No. Cooper? No. Driscoll? Aye. Ellis? Aye. French? No. Furphy? No. Guru? Aye. Hicks? Aye. Hutchings? No. James?
Aye.
Aye. Kinsky? Aye. Cole? No. Cost? Aye. Landon? No. McEwen? Aye. Nethercott? No. Pappas? Aye. Perkins? No. Rothfuss? Aye. Salazar? No. Schuler? Aye. Scott? Aye. Steinmetz? No. Wasserberger? No. President Dockstetter? No. Closing vote? Cost? Aye to no. Closing vote? Closing. Vote closed. Senate File 20, 15 aye, 15 no.
Senate File 20 has failed to pass introduction in the Senate. Senate File 44. Please read it in.
Senate File 44, Severance Tax Distribution, Jobs and Education, sponsored by the Transportation Committee.
Senator Landon.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would move introduction of Senate File 44, Severance Tax Distribution, Jobs and Education, and ask for your favorable vote to introduce this bill. Mr. President, this particular bill arrives here today as the answer to a question. And the question was during the interim for our Transportation Committee, how are we going to go about recommending to all of you how we match the monies that are going to be provided by the bipartisan infrastructure bill that passed Congress? That stands to benefit the state of Wyoming to the tune of $100+ million per year. But the caveat is, fellow senators, is that it's going to take 20% match by the state of Wyoming. I have never in my management days, in my days of working in public administration or elsewhere, Mr. President, gone to one of my leaders with a problem without at least suggesting a remedy. And that's what the Transportation Committee sought to do. I was really proud of the effort of that committee because they stepped up to provide this vehicle to you. Now, I can understand that since we have done this is regarding the statutory diversion of severance tax monies of 1%. That money goes to the Permanent Mineral Trust Fund into the Common School account currently. And I can understand a reluctance to change that. The placeholders in this bill are only that. It just says highways and I think community college funding. Those are nothing more than placeholders. And certainly we looked forward to the opportunity to work with our appropriations colleagues. That may not be your choice, and I totally get that. I would respect that, but Mr. President, this could be a vehicle where we could develop say a 0.25 of whatever we've been sending to permanent funds. We could develop a consistent funding source that would match those 100 millions that are coming in over the next 5 years. That's a substantial amount of money for us to vote on every single year. And the concern is that we don't take full advantage of that infrastructure package that's coming from the federal government. That would be a shame. It would be a blow to the economic development in our communities. and obviously to the infrastructure that needs all the help we can give it. Thank you for the opportunity to say at least a few words on this topic. It's got great support from those who represent the oil and gas. It's supported by our business community. But the decision is ours as to whether we want to put it in the system and work it as we go. So thank you, Mr. President. Urge your support.
Chief Clerk, call the roll.
Senate File 44, introductory roll call. Anderson? Aye. Baldwin? Aye. Whitman? No. Boner? No. Bouchard? No. Case? Aye. Cooper? Aye. Driscoll? No. Ellis? Aye. French? No. Murphy? No. Guru? Aye. Hicks? No. Hutchings? No. James? No. Kinsky? No. Culp? No. Cost? Aye. Landon? Aye. McEwen? No. Nethercott? Aye. Pappas? Aye. Perkins? No. Rothfuss? Aye. Salazar? No. Schuler? Aye. Scott? Aye. Steinmetz? No. Wasserberger? Aye. President Dockstetter? No. Closing vote? Closing vote closed. Senate File 44, 14 aye, 16 no.
By your vote, Senate File 44 has failed to pass the Senate on introduction. Senate File 55, please read it in.
Senate File 55, Insurance Sandbox, sponsored by Blockchain Technology Committee.
Senate File 55. There we are. Sorry. Peripheral vision thing. Okay. Senator Rothfuss, Chairman Rothfuss.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I move for the introduction of Senate File 55, Insurance Sandbox, and ask for the body's favorable consideration. Mr. President, one of the responsibilities of the select committee that we frequently refer to as the Blockchain Select Committee is actually financial technologies. It's right there in the middle of the title, but it's a very long title and we don't say it very often. This is a case of looking at financial technology where the select committee spent some time during the interim looking into reinsurance. There was an interest by some entities in the state of bringing a reinsurance market to the state of Wyoming. There's a lot of opportunity there, and there's a lot of new interest in exploring different jurisdictions to have reinsurance located in the United States. We saw this as a tremendous opportunity for the state of Wyoming. And we have a couple of pieces of legislation that are associated with that, one of which is this insurance sandbox. There was interest about a year ago in trying to explore ways and flexibility to do things a little bit differently because reinsurance doesn't use the same legislation, rules, regulations, requirements as traditional insurance. So the interest of the select committee then was Senate File 55, providing an insurance sandbox where the idea is to have our insurance commissioner provided and afforded a flexibility so that if industry comes in and requests, hey, we need some exceptions or some changes to this rule and regulation or this statute, that they would work with that proposing company and try and find ways to allow them to operate within Wyoming for a short period of time within this sandbox. There would be requirements for assurances that might be some type of bonding requirement or different consumer protections as agreed upon. And then they'd be allowed to operate for a couple of years, subject to review by the legislature and potential additional legislation so that they could operate within the state of Wyoming if it was deemed beneficial. The body will recall we've done this a couple of times in the past. We've done it for businesses, for banking, and this is the first time we've looked specifically at insurance. There's not necessarily any requirement that anybody be allowed in. It is very much an approval process. There is strict guidance that if there's any threat to our NAIC accreditation, that under no circumstance would anyone be approved. So we don't have any possibility of threat to our current structure. But the idea is, again, to try and provide opportunities for economic diversification within the state of Wyoming in the reinsurance and insurance sector in a way that's inviting. And we've seen some successes through that invitation with regard to our previous work in sandboxes, Mr. President. With that, I'd ask the body to vote for introduction.
Thank you. We'll wait for just a moment. Chief Clerk will call the roll. This is on Senate File 55.
Introductory vote, Senate File 55. Roll call, Anderson. Aye. Baldwin. Aye. Beitman. Aye. Boner. Aye. Bouchard. No. Case. No. Cooper. Aye. Driscoll. Aye. Ellis. Aye. French. No. Murphy. Aye. Guru. Aye. Hicks. Aye. Hutchings. Aye. James. No. Kinsky. Aye. Kolb. Aye. Cost. Aye. Landon. Aye. McEwen. No. Nethercott. Aye. Pappas. Aye. Perkins. Aye. Rothfuss. Aye. Salazar. Aye. Schuler. Aye. Scott. Aye. Steinmetz. Aye. Wasberger. Aye. President Dockstader. Aye. Closing vote. Closing vote closed. Senate File 55, 25 aye, 5 no.
Senate File 55 has passed the Senate. And folks, in just a moment, we'll review the whole committee assignment list at once. So let's proceed on with those Senate files that have been pulled for consideration. Senate File 56, please read it in.
The Senate File 56, Lottery Amendments, sponsored by the Blockchain Technology Committee.
Senator Nethercott.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for introduction of Senate File 56, Wyoming Lottery amendments from the Blockchain Task Force this interim. Mr. President, the bill is actually quite simple. It allows for the Wyoming Lottery to receive payment and purchase of tickets in cryptocurrency or virtual currency. So this is in coordination with the lottery. They support this concept and they look forward to allowing for this new revenue stream to come in for them and for tickets to be purchased this way. A reminder that the lottery pays for our cities, counties, and towns. The very first lottery brought in over $1 million for our cities, counties, and towns. And so this is just one more way for Wyoming to embrace the fintech industry, the space that we have welcomed so much, and allow for this currency to continue to be utilized by our state government and our state lottery to pay for cities, towns, and counties and schools. So good little bill. Look forward to your support.
Thank you. Chief Clerk, call the roll.
Senate File 56, introductory roll call. Anderson. Aye. Baldwin. Aye. Beitman. Aye. Boner. Aye. Bouchard. No. Case. Aye. Cooper. Aye. Driscoll. Aye. Ellis. Aye. French. Aye. Murphy. Aye. Guru. Aye. Hicks. Hutchings. No. James. No. Kinsky. I, Cole. I, Cost. I, Landon. I, McEwen. I, Nethercott. I, Pappas. I, Perkins. I, Rothfuss. I, Salazar. I, Schuler. I, Scott. No, Steinmetz. No, Wasserberger. I, Hicks. I, Dockstader. No. Closing vote. Cole, I to no. Closing vote. Baldwin, I to no. McEwen, I to no. Closing vote. Closing. Vote to close. Senate File 56, 21 aye, 9 no.
By your vote, Senate File 56 has passed introduction in the Senate. Okay, folks, let me go over these committee assignments again for the record. Yeah, passed introduction on first reading on that last one. Here we go for the committee assignments. Number 3, radioactive materials transport fee goes to 8, transportation. Number 14, Senate File 14, pulmonary resuscitation. Number 8, transportation. Senate File 16, vehicles equipped with automated driving system goes to number 8, transportation. Senate File 17, automated transport of cargo or goods goes to committee number 8, transportation. Senate File 48, 2022, large project funding goes to committee number 5, agriculture. Senate File 49, repeal of specified state boards and commissions goes to committee number 7, corporations. Senate File 55, insurance sandbox goes to committee number 9, minerals. Senate File 56, lottery amendments goes to committee number 9, minerals. Senate File 68, decentralized autonomous organizations goes to committee number 9, minerals. Senate File 70, revisers bill goes to committee number 12, rules. Senate File 71, deregulated industrial power zones goes to committee number 9, minerals. Senate File 73, codifying the institutional land fund goes to committee number 2, appropriations. Senate File 80, omnibus water bill construction goes to committee number 5, agriculture. And Senate File 82, supplemental water development funding goes to committee number 5, agriculture. Also, Senate File 56 goes to committee number 9, minerals. And that is water amendments. We said that, but I'll repeat it as well. For the record, Senate File 55, insurance sandbox goes to committee number 9, minerals. There we go. Full morning. Reports from standing committees.
February 15, 2022. Mr. President, your committee number 3, revenue, to whom is referred Senate File 34, inheritance tax fees repeal, respectfully reports same back to the Senate with the recommendation that it do pass. Ayes, Senators Baldwin, Case, James, Pappas, and Schuler. Senator Case, Chairman. February 15, 2022, Mr. President, Committee number 3, Revenue, to whom is referred Senate File 19, County Optional Property Tax Refund Program. Respectfully report same back to the Senate with the recommendation that it do pass. Ayes, Senators Baldwin, Case, James, Pappas, and Schuler. Senator Case, Chairman. February 15, 2022, Mr. President, Committee number 2, Appropriations, to whom is referred Senate File 66, American Rescue Plan Act Recovery Funds Appropriations. Respectfully report same back to the Senate with a recommendation that it do pass amended. Ayes, Senators Guru, Hicks, Kinsky, Perkins, and Steinmetz. Senator Perkins, Chairman. February 15, 2022, Mr. President, to Committee number 7, Corporations, Elections, and Political Subdivisions, to whom was referred Senate File 74, Water and Sewer District Elections Amendments. Respectfully report same back to the Senate with a recommendation that it do pass amended. Ayes, Senators Boner, Case, Driscoll, Nethercott, and Scott. Senator Nethercott, Acting Chairman. Mr. President, your Committee number 5, Agriculture, State and Public Lands and Water Resources, to whom was referred Senate File 8, Weed and Pest Reorganization. Respectfully report. Oh, there we go. Number 5, Agriculture, State and Public Lands and Water Resources, to whom was referred Senate File 8, Weed and Pest Reorganization. Respectfully report same back to the Senate with a recommendation that it do pass. Ayes, Senators Boner, Bouchard, French, Cost, and Wasserberger. Senator Boner, Chairman. Mr. President, your Committee number 5, Agriculture, State and Public Lands and Water Resources, to whom was referred Senate File 10, Predator Control. Respectfully report same back to the Senate with the recommendation that it do pass. Ayes, Senators Boner, Bouchard, French, Cost, and Wasserberger. Senator Boner, Chairman. February 15, 2022, Mr. President, your Committee number 5, Agriculture, State and Public Lands and Water Resources, to whom is referred Senate File 9, Revenue Bonds for Agriculture Endeavors. Respectfully report same back to the Senate with a recommendation that it do pass amended. Ayes, Senators Boner, Bouchard, French, Cost, and Wasserberger. Senator Boner, Chairman. February 15, 2022, Mr. President, Committee number 3, Revenue, to whom is referred Senate File 38, Monthly Ad Valorem Tax Revisions. Respectfully report same back to the Senate with a recommendation that it do pass amended. Ayes, Senators Baldwin, Case, Pappas, and Schuler. No, Senator James. Senator Case, Chairman.
Thank you. Bills on second reading. Senate File 2, second reading of the Senate file.
Senate File 2, Legislative Budget.
Thank you. There is an amendment. Reading clerk, read in the amendment.
One moment, please. Senate File 2, second reading amendment number 1, page 7, line 15, after.
And the person with the amendment is MIA, but not for long. We'll pause for just a moment. There is an amendment. We are on Senate File 2, first reading amendment. Senator Hicks.
Amendment 1 to Senate File 2 and ask for your favorable considerations. Member of the body, what this does is the discussion we had yesterday. This goes in on page 7, line 17. It just brings in the actual amount of money to be appropriated. This is just a transparency in budgeting, so everybody in the legislature knows how much is being appropriated to the school litigation count out of the foundation funds. This is how much money is currently in there, but right now it's just a reappropriation, but it doesn't tell you how much we're reappropriating. So now everybody in the legislature will know that we're reappropriating $1,009,427.34 to the Attorney General's office out of the school litigation count. Ask for your favorable consideration and stand for any questions, Mr. Chairman.
Discussion on first reading amendment to Senate File 2. Seeing none. This does involve a financial amount, so I believe we have to have the roll call. Chief Clerk, call the roll.
Second reading amendment number 1, roll call. Anderson. Aye. Baldwin. Aye. Whitman. Aye. Boner. Aye. Bouchard. Aye. Case. Aye. Cooper. Aye. Driscoll. Aye. Ellis. Aye. French. Aye. Murphy. Aye. Guru. Aye. Hicks.
Aye.
Aye. Hutchings. Aye. James. Aye. Kinsky.
Aye.
Marty. Aye. Cole. Aye. Cost. Aye. Landon. Aye. McEwen. Aye. Nethercott. Aye. Pappas. Aye. Perkins. Aye. Rothfuss. Salazar. Aye. Schuler. Aye. Scott. Aye. Steinmetz. Aye. Wasserberger. Aye. Rothfuss. Excuse, Mr. President.
Excused.
Excused. President Dockstader.
Aye.
Aye. Closing vote.
Let me read it.
Closing. Vote closed on the amendment 29 aye, 1 excused.
Amendment has passed. We're back on the bill. Senator Guru.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yesterday when we were talking about this bill in committee of the whole, we were asked a question by the good senator from Natrona County about the cost of interim studies and the salary line, and there was a question about the rise in that cost. I would like to tell you, I stayed up all night working diligently to procure that information. But you know me well enough to know that nothing could be further from the truth. I went home, forgot totally about it, and luckily the staff who's always listening wrote me and said, here's the answer to the question that you were going to ask us. And here it is. An increase from 2012 to 2022 in legislator interim salaries is 34.5%. Real numbers, that's 1.4 million in 2012 to 2.256 million today. Meeting days, 2012, 108, 2021, 149, an increase of 28%. And I also have a whole sheet of facts about working days for staff and others, but that is direct answer to the direct question. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator. Any further discussion on the bill? Any further discussion on the bill? Senate File 2. Ready for a vote? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. Senate File 2 passing second reading. Pause for just a moment. Senator Cost, could you approach the chair? Okay, absent objection, we're going to lay back Senate File 39 until this afternoon, and we have one other that you note on your list, Senate File 98 delayed until this afternoon. So folks, let's go to Senate File 40. Senator Case.
Mr. President, a kind of a point of order a little bit. You called for a vote on that last bill. Typically, in the past, we've always, the second reading has been an absent objection. It moves on to
further reading it.
Absent objection. We'll move
Yeah,
on.
but I'm not sure that it really makes any difference, but I get accustomed to the old words, and it seems like that was a smoother procedure. It was the absent objection.
Oh, having been read, thank you, Mr. Senator.
Well, I thought I heard something different today, and I thought we've never done that before. And thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you for keeping us on track with the institution. Senate File 2, having been read 2 separate times, the question is, shall it be read, bill or be read a third time? Hearing no objection, it's so ordered. Senator Anderson. Senate File 98 and Senate File 39 laid back to this afternoon. Thank you. Oh, so it is. Excuse me, clarification. I read my script wrong here. Senate File 98 on introduction is laid back. Thank you. We'll also lay back Senate File 39 until this afternoon. That moves us to Senate File 40. Second reading of the Senate file.
Senate File 40, Criminal Record Dissemination, Military Department.
Thank you. Senator Landon? Oh, no amendments. Okay. Senate File 40 having been read 2 separate times. The question is, shall the bill be read? Oh, go ahead, Senator Landon.
I do apologize. Thank you, Mr. President. Yesterday, there was a question that arose on Senate File 40, just with regard to feedback that we had received or not received from our law enforcement community. That was a very good question and something that I've been chasing a little bit. And with the help of our chairman of the Judiciary Committee, we will sure share information when we get it from our friends over at the Department of Criminal Investigation. So I do not have that information yet. So I apologize for that, but I'll keep you posted, Mr. President, as this moves forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Appreciate the update. Senate File 40 have been read 2 separate times. The question is, shall the bill be read a third time? Hearing no objections, it's so ordered. Senate File 45, second reading of the bill of the file.
Senate File 45, Military Department Annual Report.
Senate File 45 having been read 2 separate times. The question is, shall the bill be read a third time? Hearing no objections, it is so ordered. Senate File 57, second reading of the Senate file.
Senate File 57, Chancery Court Vacancy Amendments.
Senate File 57 having been read 2 separate times. The question is, shall the bill be read a third time? Hearing no objection, it is so ordered. Senate File 58, second reading of the Senate file.
Senate File 58, Wyoming Council for Women's Issues Workforce Services.
Senate File 58 having been read 2 separate times. The question is, shall the bill be read a third time? Hearing no objection, it is so ordered. Senate File 59, second reading of the Senate file.
Senate File 59, Game and Fish Fund Investments.
Senate File 59 having been read 2 separate times. The question is, shall the bill be read a third time? Hearing no objection, it is so ordered. Senate File 67, second reading of the Senate file.
Senate File 67, State-Funded Capital Construction.
Thank you. There is an amendment. Senator Landon.
Mr. President, thank you. I would move second reading amendment number 1 to Senate File 67. Fellow senators, this comes to us as an opportunity, this particular amendment, to have another quick visit about.
Senator, my apologies. I forgot to have the amendment read in. Go ahead and read it.
Thank you, Mr. President. My apologies too.
Senate File 67, second reading amendment number 1, page 1, line 2, after.
Now, Senator Landon, thank you.
Where was I, Mr. President?
Somewhere after page 1, line 2.
Thank you. Mr. President, this amendment comes. Move it again?
Go ahead.
Let me move second reading amendment number 1 to Senate File 67 again, Mr. President.
Thank you.
And now, back to where we started from. This is an opportunity, fellow senators, to speak to you about an interim topic that was taken up by the Travel, Recreation, and Wildlife Committee. We spent quite a bit of time on this, and unfortunately, it's difficult on just an introductory way to share very much information on something. I think a reconsideration, I hope that you'll support this effort. What it is in regard is the building up in Lander, where our State Parks and Cultural Resources has a headquarters primarily for our trail system up there. We have an opportunity to purchase the property in which they are residing currently. And the owners of that particular property are anxious to sell it. They have held off patiently to allow for the opportunity of the state to pick up that property. I think that if the state chooses not to do that, they will turn around and it will sell in approximately 3 days. It is a valuable piece of property that is being offered to the state for a very reasonable cost. So that's what this amendment attempts to address. It allows for, it provides the authorization to the State Parks and Cultural Resources to purchase that building. I have taken and tightened this up a little bit. We are going to, if you'll notice in paragraph 4, that this, we're going to ask that the monies that are derived from rental and leases in that building, there are 3 or 4 properties that are currently leased along with our state parks, state offices there. They will receive the rental fee for that. What I'm asking is that all of the rental income generated under this lease agreement will be sent to the Department of A&I. And then that rental income, as specified under this paragraph, will be deposited quarterly in equal amounts into the snowmobile trails account and into the off-road recreational vehicle trails account. Those are the 2 accounts that the State Parks and Cultural Resources has enough resources in place to purchase this building. So it is right that we allow that funding to go back to its original purpose, and we can do that through these rental agreements. You'll notice at the bottom of the page that I require that the purchase authority provided to the department by this subsection is contingent on certification of the State Building Commission that the subject lands and buildings be purchased have been properly inspected and are in suitable condition. That's another little sideboard that I put up on this. Folks, this really boils down to a location that is ideal for our state parks and cultural resources to do what they need to do. There's a lot of equipment on that 3.5 acres up there. It is a building that suits the needs of our agency. My concern is twofold, really. If we turn down the opportunity to pick up this building tomorrow, I believe that lease is going to go up. It's going to rise dramatically. Whoever purchases that building, if they allow the state of Wyoming to stay in it, I think the lease is going to go up. The second piece of it is there's a very real possibility that who buys that building is not going to allow our agency to stay there. And we've done some research, and frankly, many of us know what's going on in Fremont County. It has exploded up there. There's a lot of activity, and there are not many places, many alternatives to this building. Here's what it'll benefit us, folks. We are currently paying $155,000 a year in rent on that facility. If we were to purchase the building, it'll pay for itself in a little over 14 years. It will save the state of Wyoming approximately $6 million over the next 40 years. That means all of those fees will go right back into the trail system where we want them. I could go on for quite a long time. The Travel, Recreation, and Wildlife Committee toured that facility. We spent quite a bit of time there. We've spent quite a bit of time with our employees in state parks. Folks, I think this is an opportunity that deserved this second look. That's why I brought the amendment to you. I believe that we would be turning down a great opportunity that will actually save our state money. And so I bring it back to you. I hope you'll support the amendment so that we can get that building purchased up there and put this behind us. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I would like to try to clear up a little bit of confusion. You may have gotten an email from folks that, you know, the Sinks Canyon issue is a really poignant thing in Lander. And there's a large group of people that are very concerned about overdevelopment of Sinks Canyon and about potential purchase of property within Sinks Canyon that belongs to the city of Lander. And some of those folks got this a little mixed up, okay? They thought this had something to do with that. So this does not have anything to do with it. We're very, very proud to host the State Parks Trail Program. We love the folks that work on the trails system, and we really appreciate their presence in our community. Sinks Canyon is just another area where we're going to have more discussions down the road, but it has nothing to do with this. And I would urge you to support my colleague and support the amendment.
Thank you, Senator. Further discussion? Any further discussion? Senator Scott.
Mr. President, this is a little bit unprecedented in terms of what's going on here. I don't know what kind of expertise the state parks bureaucracy has in purchase and sale of buildings. My question is, when other state agencies have wanted to purchase a building, do they come to us directly, or is there some kind of a process with the State Building Commission or some other that they go through? How are these things evaluated other than just bringing it out here on the floor of the Senate? I thought, well, maybe a bill was a good idea, but that didn't meet with favor. Is there a process, or is this the way we have to do these things?
Okay, who's answering that? You guys want to flip a coin? Okay, let's go to Chairman.
Thank you,
Ferguson.
Mr. Chairman, and thanks to my tall senator, Mr. President, thanks to my salt senator. Good question. It's been a mixed bag. Usually what happens if there's an acquisition building, we do it one of several ways. And usually if the state's going out to acquire a building and it's going to be under the direction of SI and subsequently the SBC, which is the State Building Commission, that money is appropriate to the State Building Commission. They simply go purchase it. But usually that's vetted. We know where that goes. There's a little bit of money at the State Building Commission. So if there's properties that come up for sale in between session that are vital or important to the state, or particularly the Capitol complex, that they can be acquired. But this building is not under the direction and purview of the State Building Commission. The State Parks has a series of its own buildings. And they're not the only one. The Department of Transportation has a series of its own buildings. The Game and Fish Commission has a series of its own buildings that are not under the direction of the State Building Commission. They're done separately and looked after separately. Major maintenance is done separately. And so in talking to this, I believe it was at the suggestion of a member of the appropriations to the good senator from Casper, the sponsor of this amendment, that he should bring it to this so that we look at this and do this. For years, we have always monitored and looked at and approved purchases by the state parks. We've done that consistently. We monitor state parks quite a bit differently because they're not under an independent commission like Game and Fish and the board, but they're also not under the SBC. And so, so this is, I think that we've done this from time to time and with state parks, both with leases for state parks as well as acquisitions for state parks. And so I believe that this is a very appropriate, transparent way to look at this and put it in context with the rest of the capital purchases. The difference being that this is going to come out of the trails account. And so my question, I have two questions for the sponsor of the amendment in that regard, and that is, what's the balance of the trails account? And how is this will affect the maintenance and the effort that goes on the trails and outdoor and snowmobile trails? How will that affect that? And give us we just want to make assurance that we have a building, but we can't perform a function. Just want to make sure that, I don't think that's the issue, but I just want to verify that. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. We're going to hold up for just a moment, folks. Do something a little bit different, but we have a distinguished visitor on a very tight schedule. Senator Beitman.
Thank you, Mr. President. In the gallery, we have our visitors from the Convention of States and a very special guest, former Senator, U.S. Senator from Pennsylvania and former presidential candidate Rick Santorum is here with us today. Let's give Rick a big round of applause and our Convention of States activists. And thank you, Senator Santorum, for being here with us. And thank you to the Convention of States activists here with us too as well. Julie Baker, Steve Dewar, Rod Guile, Dave Schneider. Thank you guys and all you volunteers. I understand we had a rough vote this morning over in the House, but I appreciate all you do. Thank you.
Welcome, Senator Santorum, to the Wyoming Senate. It's a privilege to share the breakfast table at the governor's table this morning at the prayer breakfast. And thank you for coming to Wyoming, sir. All right, let's proceed. Let's proceed, Senator Perkins, and then let's go ladies first to Senator Ellis and then to Senator Cole.
Thank you, Mr. President. In response to the last inquiry, the amount of money in the snow account is 2.377 million. In the ORV registration account, it's 2.011 million. So overall, those two accounts combined is 4.485. And so as the good senators mentioned, this money isn't coming from the general fund. This is money that has been generated through recreational use. State parks, often is told we want, state agencies to operate more like businesses. And that's what originated with Senate File 5 was state parks trying to think outside the box of a way to save the state money and invest more in the services and products it provides. And that's in improving our trails to support our outdoor enthusiasts. So happy to answer any more questions, but that's how much is in those accounts as of today.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Kolb, you were up.
Thank you, Mr. President. Information on the building's condition, has it been professionally evaluated? And if so, what were the identified maintenance costs that may come in the future? And I don't know how long away that future is, but could someone expound on that?
Further discussion? Senator Hicks.
Mr. Chairman, I think this amendment addresses my concerns that I had initially with introduction, and it's specifically to what my colleague from Sweetwater County just referenced. And so we have had experience in the past that agencies buy buildings and then we find out that they have asbestos or the foundation isn't sound. And then it costs either the agency or the state significant amounts of money to remediate this. The way this is currently constructed in this amendment, it will have those professionals from the State Building Commission go inspect those buildings to make sure that there are no toxic substances, that they're structurally sound. And then that report has to come back and it has to have a clean bill of health from SBC, from the State Building Commission before the state parks could purchase this building. So that was the provision of my biggest concern was, are we acquiring an asset or a liability? I don't know, but we do have people that work for state government and State Building Commission that do know. So they will have to do the inspection on this and give it a clean bill of health before the state parks would move forward. This amendment certainly resolves my concerns. Thank you, Mr.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion on the amendment? We're back to Chairman Landon.
Mr. President, thank you. And I want to thank all of you senators for the opportunity to reconsider something that I think will really benefit us. To continue to answer the question from my friend over in Sweetwater County, and to be transparent, this project has actually gone up through the ranks before. And those folks have worked with the state construction department. There was a presentation to the SBC. I don't sit on SBC on your behalf anymore. I believe that the senator from Cheyenne does that. Our majority floor leader does that. I don't know if they were there the day that presentation was made. This is a project, Mr. President, that has been endorsed by the SBC. But what this amendment does, it says we're going to route that back through the process. We just want to cross T's and dot I's and make sure, as the vice president said, we're not acquiring a liability instead of an asset. I think that will further vet this thing and give us even more comfort. The other thing that I like about this amendment is we're going to route this lease payment money down to A&I. Our folks on appropriations will have a line item that they can look at and get a report back from. And we too will be getting a report on the Travel, Recreation, and Wildlife Committee. We'll keep an eye on this. Thank you for considering this, folks. I think it's a good move for the state of Wyoming. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. All right.
Question.
Question on the amendment. Now, folks, this doesn't go up or down, but it moves money over. So we would feel more comfortable putting our names on something involving money. Very good. Roll call, please.
Second reading amendment number 1 to Senate File 67, roll call. Anderson? Aye. Baldwin? Aye. Beitman? No. Boner? Aye. Bouchard? No. Case? Aye. Cooper? Aye. Driscoll? Aye. Ellis? Aye. French? No. Furphy? Aye. Guru? Aye. Hicks? Aye. Hutchings? No. James? No. Kinsky? Aye. Cole?
Aye.
Aye. Cost? Aye. Landon? Aye. McEwen? No. Nethercott? Aye. Pappas? Aye. Perkins? Aye. Rothfuss? Aye. Salazar? No. Schuler? Aye. Scott? No. Steinmetz? Aye. Wasserberger? Aye. President Dockstader? Aye. Closing vote? Hutchings, no to aye. Closing vote? Closing. Vote closed. On the amendment, 23 aye, 7 no.
Second reading amendment number 1 to Senate File 75. Excuse me, Senate File 67 has passed. Senator Steinmetz.
Thank you, Mr. President. Before we leave this good little bill, I would like to answer a few questions that came up yesterday that I told folks I would get back to them on. First of all, the good chairman of agriculture asked some questions about the College of Ag that was in the CapCon. And so I provided a handout on your desk about the projects through our extension centers. A lot of them are for connectivity, as you'll see on the first couple of pages. And then the maintenance part and the new more normal operations such as equipment and tractors and balers and things like that are on the last 2 pages. So you can look through those projects and have a look, see what those are. Then the other question that was posed to the good Laramie County Senator that asked about the law school, the Corbett Natatorium, and the War Memorial West Side Stands, that breakout. The UW Law School is $28,716,812.15. The UW Corbett Natatorium is $40,358,729.91. UW War Memorial West Stands is $54,999,285.15. That is the breakout of what the university is estimating those projects to cost. And then you saw our block grant of $50 million. So I hope that clears up some questions on this bill. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. All right. Senate File 67. Having been read 2 separate times, question is, shall the bill be read a 3rd time? Hearing no objection, it is so ordered. Senate File 75, second reading of the bill.
Senate File 75, deferred annuities, minimum non-forfeiture.
There are no amendments. Senate File 75, having been read 2 separate times, the question is, shall the bill be read a 3rd time? Hearing no objection, it is so ordered. Concludes second readings. Mr. Floor Leader, might be a good time to take us into lunch. Let those making, Senator Boner, you have something first before I go to the Floor Leader? Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senate File 8, Weed and Pest Reorganization as an appropriation. I ask that be re-referred to Committee Number 2 Appropriations at this time.
Absent objection is referred to Committee Number 2. I don't know if the referee, Mark said it was an objection or not.
He's okay with it.
Yeah, let's, for the record and those listening, could you read the catch title and the committee it's coming from?
Okay, Committee Number 5, Agriculture, passed Senate File 8 out of Committee, Weed and Pest Reorganization. We ask that be re-referred to Committee Number 2 Appropriations.
Thank you. Do we have another referral first before we go to the Floor Leader? Go ahead, Senator Nethercott.
Yes, Mr. President. Senate File 26, District Court Judges Position Authorization and Funding. Ask that that be re-referred to Committee Number 2 Appropriations.
Absent objections, referred to Committee Number 2 Appropriations. Now, Mr. Floor Leader. Confirming for the clerk, it's 26.
Correct. Senate File
Great.
26.
Thank you. It's all yours, Mr. Floor Leader. How about lunch?
Mr. President, I move we stand recessed till 1:30.
Announcements. Senator Case.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Your Committee Number 3 will meet tomorrow upon the noon recess. And if the noon recess is at 11:30, we'll meet 11:30, but we'll get our work done. And we are going, the only thing that we have left is Senate File 37. We're still working it from our last meeting. It's sales tax exemptions, certify eligibility. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And anything else that we might get assigned.
Thank you. Chairman Landon.
Thank you, Mr. President. Your Committee 8, Transportation, does meet on Wednesday evenings, and we will do so today down in W2 upon adjournment. And we will take up Senate File 13 as a continuation from a couple of nights ago to finish up temporary delegation of parental authority. Senate File 3, radioactive materials transport fee, and Senate File 18, county road maintenance fund amendments, if introduced and referred, and Senate File 17, automated transport of cargo and goods, if time permits on that one, Mr. President.
Thank you. Chairman Perkins.
Will meet upon adjournment today in the State Capitol Room W110 and online to take up, if it's introduced this afternoon, Senate File 98, Emergency COVID-19 Relief Funding Limitations, if introduced and referred. In addition, we'll retake up the 2 referrals we've had, which are Senate File 26, having to do with district court judges, and Senate File 8, which is from the Agricultural Committee. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you. Chairman Anderson.
Mr. President, your Minerals Committee will meet today noon, and we'll meet at 12 o'clock noon today in the Capitol Extension Room W4 and online. We'll hear Senate File 35, Electric Vehicle Charging Station Regulation Exemption, Senate File 46, Solid Waste Cease and Transfer Program Funding, Senate File 47, Carbon Storage and Sequestration Liability. And for the Senate Minerals Committee, there are 5 boxes in the lunchroom. Please take your boxes and eat it, and don't bring it to the Senate Minerals meeting. So eat your box lunch in the break room. Thank you.
You heard from the chairman. Senator Kinsky, do you have something for us? All right. That's all right. Clean up on aisle 2. Any other announcements? Any other announcements? Okay, folks, we'll cut off just a little bit early because there is a pending deadline at 12 noon today regarding all bill filings. There you have it. You've heard the motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion has it. The Senate will stand recessed until 2 p.m.
1:30.